Namaskaram. My name is S. Ashok Kumar. Welcome to my channel. In the last part, I explained about the nose and functions. Now in this part, I am going to explain about the importance of the pharynx and what is the pharynx. Okay. So for your understanding, just I am going to make an imaginary diagram of the pharynx. Okay. So here I am taking pharynx just like a linear structure. Consider like this. Okay. This pharynx, you consider this portion is a ventral. Okay. This portion, this back portion, you consider this is a dorsal part. Means this is a front, this is a back. Okay, like this you imagine. Now this pharynx consists of three parts actually. The first one, anterior. The anterior pharynx is a nasopharynx. Nasopharynx, very sensitive part. The middle portion, this middle portion is oropharynx. The posterior portion, this posterior is laryngopharynx. Laryngopharynx. So three parts. First you go for the nasopharynx. This is a nasopharynx where, for example, you think this is a throat. Get open inside. Okay, now this is a throat. Now these are like internal nose. This is a throat, inside opening. This one, internal nose. Okay. Now this is internal nose. Through ears, one tube get open here like this. This one is a Eustachian tubes. Eustachian tubes means how much sensitive part, nasopharynx, how much sensitive part you can think. Through this throat, whatever we are swallowing food, the swallowing food is reaching here. Whenever we are taking this, always we are taking the air through internal nose, air also will come here. Whenever we apply the external pressure, automatically the pressure through the ear, through these Eustachian tubes is applying here. Means through throat food, this is air, through this Eustachian tube pressure. So all these three get meet at this nasopharynx. Anyhow, whenever we apply the external force only here. But these are the continuously happening whenever we are swallowing the food, continuously we are taking the air, both will meet here. No? So what is importance of the nasopharynx? Nasopharynx is a very sensitive part. It is a common part of both respiratory system and digestive system. What it means that it is a common point where food and air meets. That is a nasopharynx. This nasopharynx is continuous with the oropharynx as a small part. Then oropharynx is continuous with the laryngopharynx. Already I said this is a ventral, that is a dorsal. This laryngopharynx is get divided here. Then and that means pharynx is get divided at the laryngopharynx. This laryngopharynx ventrally it opens into glottis. It opens into glottis. This glottis portion, the anterior portion. This glottis portion is continuous with the larynx. Larynx, glottis is the anterior part of the larynx. As we know, this larynx is continuous with the trachea. Means this laryngopharynx ventrally is continuous with the larynx through glottis. This laryngopharynx dorsally it continues with. This is a back side. Like this, you need to imagine. Back side it is a continuous with the esophagus. So you need to understand laryngopharynx ventrally continues, ventrally opens into the larynx through the glottis, and dorsally laryngopharynx opens into esophagus. Here, what I said, through this nasopharynx, food and air common, there is a common point now. So there should need of regulation. Air should enters into this particular trachea. Food only enters into the esophagus. How that regulation is possible? This glottis is covered by a flip, that is elastic cartilage, that is epiglottis. What is the epiglottis importance? Epiglottis is a flip like elastic cartilage which covers the glottis. That means what is importance of epiglottis? Epiglottis prevent entry of the food particles into the trachea. Simultaneously, esophagus also should control the movement of the food. That is why at the anterior most portion of the esophagus is associated with a sphincter. That is anterior esophageal sphincter. This anterior esophageal sphincter is made up of the skeletal muscles, voluntary muscles. So this anterior esophageal sphincter regulates the movement of the food from pharynx into the esophagus. This epiglottis prevent movement of the food from the pharynx into the trachea. That means what? There is a perfect design or perfect making of differentiation. And the air should enters into the trachea, food enters into the only esophagus. That is possible because of the epiglottis and anterior esophageal sphincter. This is briefly about the pharynx. After pharynx, I am going to explain about the larynx. As we know, larynx is also called a sound box. How it produces the sound, I will explain the mechanism later. First, I will tell you about the structure of the larynx. This larynx is made up of 9 cartilages. 9 cartilages. Out of these 9 cartilages, 3 are unpaired and 3 are paired. First, I will tell you unpaired cartilages means they are single. Those cartilages include the first one is thyroid cartilage. Thyroid cartilage. The thyroid cartilage also called Adam's apple. Adam's apple. What are the importance of thyroid cartilage? These thyroid cartilage, first I am telling, it is hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage. There are different types of cartilage depending on their composition. The next one is that this thyroid cartilage is more prominent in males than the female. That is why this is a Adams. And what you are seeing, this one is a thyroid cartilage. What you are seeing here. This thyroid cartilage gives specific triangle shape to the larynx. Okay. The next cartilage is a cricoid cartilage. Cricoid cartilage. This cricoid cartilage is a ring of hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage, just like a thyroid cartilage. Okay. This ring, this makes this cricoid cartilage form posterior part of larynx. posterior part of larynx. I will tell you. Means, for example, if you think this one is a cricoid cartilage, this is a ring. From this, you think that this is a posterior portion. From this cricoid cartilage, you can think trachea will start. Means, this is a cricoid cartilage is a posterior part of the larynx that associated with the anterior part of the trachea. Means trachea you can see like this. Okay. The next one, this is a hyaline cartilage just like a thyroid cartilage. Third one is epiglottis. Epiglottis. As already I said, it covers the glottines. This one is elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage. It's a flip like elastic cartilage. These three, thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage and epiglottis, these three are present in the single. They belongs to unpaired cartilages. Next take that paid cartilages. Out of these, the first one, these are in the 2 in number. First one is a arytenoid. Arytenoid cartilage. This arytenoid cartilage is important in sound production. It helps in the sound production. And this one is a hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage. Okay. The next one, corniculate. Corniculate cartilage. This one is a elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage. The next one, cuneiform. Cuneiform cartilage. This one is also elastic cartilage. See this one. This is a 2, this is a 2, this is a 2. Total 6 in number. Plus these are the single. Total 9 cartilages. Thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, epiglottis cartilage, 3 arytenoid cartilage, corniculate cartilage, cuneiform cartilage. These 9 cartilages together structurally forms the larynx. After explaining the structure of larynx, now I am going to tell about the mechanism of sound production. What I said, larynx is made up of 9 cartilages. Within the 9 cartilages, inside of the 9 cartilages, there are 2 pairs of vocal cords are present. How many pairs? 2 pairs of vocal cords are present. Out of this, 1 pair is a false vocal cord. Why that is called false vocal cord? Because that is a less involved in the sound production. This false vocal cord also called ventricular folds. Because these vocal cords are nothing foldings of the membrane within the cartilages of the larynx. The next pair, one more pair, is called true vocal cords. True vocal cords. Why? Because they are very important in the sound production. Now, diagrammatic thing to understand for you. If you see the larynx from the upper view, if you see that upper view, you can imagine like this, upper view. The topmost you can see the tongue. This is the tongue. Okay. Below this tongue, you can see this one is a epiglottis. Epiglottis. Below this one, these are the corniculate and cuneiform cartilages. For your understanding the structure, within middle epiglottis and these corniculate and cuneiform, in the middle you can see the vocal cords. Here, when the vocal cords are open, you can see like this. This is a one. What you are seeing, this one is true vocal cords. True vocal cords. Then where is the false vocal cords are present? See this one. Here. These are the false vocal cord. So here this belongs to false vocal cord. False vocal cord or ventricular folds. Between this is a one false, this is another vocal. Between these two there is a gap is present here. Okay na? This gap, the gap present between the false vocal cord, that is rima glottidis, or you can call it as the rima vestibuli. Rima vestibuli or rima glottidis. What is that? The space present between the false vocal cord. This one, the black color lines, what you are seeing, when they are open, you can see like this. When they are closed, they will come close together. These are belongs to true vocal cords. Comes to, this is the upper view of this particular larynx. What you are seeing with reference of the vocal cords. Here comes to the how the sound get produced. When we want to speak, when the air is forcing out. When the air is forcing out means, is it inhalation or exhalation? Definitely that is exhalation. When the air is coming out, that means during the exhalation, when the air is coming, the coming out air makes the pressure, makes the tension on these true vocal cords. Automatically these vocal cords, true vocal cords, just like they vibrate. When they vibrate, automatically sound get produced. That means what you need to understand, sound production. This point is important for the exam. Sound production occur during inhalation or exhalation? Occur during the exhalation. When the air is coming out from the body during the exhalation, these air will vibrate the true vocal cord. Because of that vibration, the sound get produced. The quality of the sound is represented by different types of structures. I am telling sound is produced by the vibration of the true vocal cords during the exhalation. Now comes to take this one, the pitch of the sound. Pitch of sound, that is depends on how much tension, how much pressure we are applying on the vocal cord. That means what? Greater the pressure you are applying, greater the tension you are applying during the exhalation, more force air you are applying on the vocal cord, true vocal cord, automatically greater the pitch is come, lesser the pressure you applied, lesser the pitch of the sound. Okay. Now take in case of males. In males, the vocal cords, which vocal cords I am speaking? True vocal cords only. These in males, the vocal cords are longer and thicker. Longer and thicker. They become thicker under the influence of androgens. What is that androgen? That is a testosterone. Under the influence of the androgens, these in male vocal cords become longer and thicker. When they become thick, automatically what happens? When you are applying the force, the air, automatically less vibration possible. That is why that results low pitch. Low pitch from puberty, because androgens start producing in the body from the puberty onwards. So that in males actually produces the low pitch. That is because the vocal cords are longer and thicker. Now comes to in children's and females. Children's and females, the vocal cords are thinner and shorter. When I said thinner itself, less pressure is enough, less tension is enough on the vocal cords to vibrate. When you apply the less pressure, automatically they vibrate more. That results high pitch. That results high pitch. That is why this is how that sound get produced. The important point you need to remember, sound production occurred during the exhalation. This is about the pharynx and larynx I explained in this part. If you understand these structures, you can like this video and share it to your friends and subscribe our channel. If you have any doubts about the chapter for NEET exam or academic exam, comment below. Definitely I will respond. I will help you. Definitely. Thank you.